Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Ooh, shh. Do do do. Shh. Starring William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelley, James Doohan, Nichelle Nichols, George Takei, Walter Koenig, and a bunch of red shirts that don't matter. Star Trek. Oh my God. I, ladies and gentlemen, am living proof that Star Trek and Star Wars can peacefully coexist in one physical human body. I am the gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you what's on my mind. And guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about this Star Trek Discovery thing. Now I know a lot of guys out there cannot stand this show, and for good reason. You know, they're reinventing a lot of crap. You know, they're really playing fast and loose with the Star Trek lore, and the Klingons don't look like Klingons, and by the end of the season they set it up so that they're going to run into the Starship Enterprise. And you know, the funny thing about that is that this is the Enterprise slightly before it became under the command of Captain Kirk. This Starship Enterprise is still being commanded by Captain Pike, and this also suggests that they're going to be meeting a younger Mr. Spock. Alright, so I have word recently that they have cast a Mr. Spock for Star Trek Discovery. Alright, and I'm going to share the article with you guys so you can see what's going on here. You can see who this guy is. And let me see if I can bring this up real quick. You can find this on IndieWire.com, by the way. And it says here, Spock officially beams aboard Star Trek Discovery. And it is Ethan Peck. Specifically, Ethan Gregory Peck. Now, the first thing I wondered when I heard that is, were his parents just huge Gregory Peck fans? You know, the classic actor from back in the day, To Kill a Mockingbird, Cape Fear, one of my personal favorites. You know, so many movies Gregory Peck was in. Now, it turns out that this is his grandson. Ethan Gregory Peck is Gregory Peck's grandson, and he has been tapped to play young Mr. Spock. Now, let me show you a picture of Ethan Peck. On my phone, of course. Okay? There you have Leonard Nimoy. There you have Ethan Peck. Now, I must say, Ethan Peck doesn't offend me. You know, as a matter of fact, he kind of reminds me of Zachary Quinto, which I thought did a great job, you know, of Mr. Spock. You know, Mr. Spock is one of those characters. If you don't get the right guy to play Spock, it ain't gonna work at all. You know what I mean? So from what I've seen thus far, and I looked at a couple of interviews with Ethan Peck, I even like the vernacular. I like his voice. You know what I mean? So, and I just got through watching some old interviews with Leonard Nimoy. God, I miss Leonard Nimoy. What a guy, man. It's like I never thought that I would get emotional, you know, watching Leonard Nimoy after all these years, you know, but I miss him. He was a great, great presence, you know, on the screen, whether it was the small screen or whether it was the big screen. And my experience with Star Trek, I should say also, guys, it goes way, way back, because I started watching them in reruns like most people, you know, these days. And my parents, you know, they put me on. You know, my father used to watch it, you know, my mom, of course, you know, and I started watching it. And it was great, man. It's like Star Trek had this way of capturing your imagination in so many different ways. It's like that introduction is perfect. It's a perfect setup for what the show is going to be, because it's telling you right there, we're boldly going where no man, no one, nobody has gone before. What does that tell you? It tells you that you are about to let your imagination run wild. Nobody has been there before. It's like these days, it's like most of what we see, there's always this attitude attached to it, like, yeah, I've seen it before. This reminds me of this reminds me of that. But Star Trek lets you know from the beginning, man. It's like, that's what I love about that era of TV. You know, you had the Twilight Zone, you know, you had the Outer Limits, you know, you had Star Trek, you had so many different sci-fi movies and shows that was just like letting their imagination run wild, you know, and Star Trek was great at that. You know, so it was a great formula, and I kind of feel that as we've moved away from the core series, that vision has kind of been lost, you know, in Trek. You know, it's more now about drama, it's more about the conflict, but at the core of it, there was always imagination and how it related to humanity, or how humanity related to that situation, you know, of being in a situation that it's never been in before. You know what I mean? And there was always a question of whether you intervene with these new civilizations that they would run across, and if you did, how much would you intervene? So, and I just thought it was great fun, because at the heart of it, they had some amazing characters. Captain Kirk is one of my heroes to this day, as played by William Shatner. It was ridiculous how much I loved Captain Kirk, and have always loved Captain Kirk. No matter what the problem was, that man just would not lose. You know what I mean? And at the same time, he was getting wild, man. It's like, you know, he was a space freak, you know, and I loved it, you know. And of course, you know, you had Mr. Spock. And let me tell you something, the Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, I could watch that today and still cry at Spock's death scene. That was probably my introduction as a child to death. And it was Mr. Spock. And when I watched that scene, it always gets me, man. If I can get through ship out of danger, ooh, if I can get past that, if I'm lucky enough to get past that, I won't get past when he dies and Captain Kirk slumps down on the other side of the glass beside him. You know, like he's dying along with him. What a scene, what a scene, what a movie. To this day, that's the best Star Trek movie ever. You know, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Of course, you want to debate that, that's fine. You know, but to me, it's far and away like the best of the Star Trek films. You know, so anyway, here we are today at Star Trek Discovery. And I've made videos before talking about how there were certain aspects of Discovery that I appreciated. I loved the character. I loved the character of Lorca. You know, so it was very entertaining watching him, because he was a rare thing in TV these days. He was a very, very flawed character. You know, he wasn't a likable, lovable, perfect SJW character. You know what I mean? And it figures the reason why was he was a bad guy. You know, but when he was just a good guy with a really, really bad attitude, I loved that character. And I was looking forward to where they were going to take him. But unfortunately, you know, things played out the way they did. The character of Michael Burnham, as played by Sonequa Martin Green, she's okay. I like the actress. I've liked her since Walking Dead. But let's face it, the show is it's deserving of the criticism that it gets. You know, so it's rough, guys, because the problem is that you can have a female-led Star Trek. You could have a so-called minority-led Star Trek. But if your writing isn't what it should be, then you're running the risk of just having another SJW type show, which you just feel good about just because you threw a bunch of diversity in there. You know what I mean? And Star Trek is one of those things where diversity has always been part of Star Trek. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not even something that's new. Star Trek has always pushed the boundaries, you know, as far as social issues and questions and things like that. So we didn't need the extra push, you know, by ironically J.J. Abrams or anybody else. You know, as a matter of fact, George Takei himself, who is homosexual, had a major problem with Sulu being made gay, because he did not play Sulu as gay back in the 60s. You know, so it says a lot that George Takei himself, a homosexual man, objected to the character of Sulu being gay in the movies and in the series. You know, so sometimes things can go too far. You know, so what I see going on with Discovery now in the second season is, you know, they're bringing in Captain Pike, they're bringing in the Enterprise, and they're bringing in young Spock, Ethan Gregory Peck. Now, hopefully he does a good job playing Spock, but with the way the writing has been on that show, I just fear that they're going to mess with the legend. You know what I mean? I don't trust them. You know, I don't. And I really wish that Trek would get back to what it's known for, which is seeking out new life and new civilizations and letting your imagination run wild. You know what I mean? It's like, instead of trying to redefine everything and, you know, mess with the legend and mess with the lore, it's like, get back to really good storytelling and really good imagination. That's the key word for me these days. Imagination. It's like, where are people's imagination? It's like, wow me, man. Here I am now. Entertain me. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's what we all want. All of us want that. So why can't we encourage that? Why can't we demand that and have these people hear us? We are the core audience. We are the ones who have been there the whole time. This is what we want. That's why so many people are looking at the Orville, for example. The Orville, Seth MacFarlane, fucking go figure. It's like, who knew? I'm not a Seth MacFarlane fan at all. But one thing I realized while watching the Orville in that first season is that it seems like they get it more than Star Trek currently gets it. You know, as far as what the mission is, the core, the purpose of Star Trek is space exploration, human exploration, and how it relates to the universe. You know, so I don't know, guys. It's like, I wish Ethan Gregory Peck all the best as Spock. You know, like I said, he definitely looks the part. I like his voice. He sounds the part. I can't wait to see him in uniform. I am going to be watching, you know, but I don't have a lot of hope for this, you know, unless some people really, really start getting a clue and some people really start getting inspired. You know, I would love to see that. If only Star Trek would be inspired again. Yes, the new show looks good. It looks good. But it seems like that's what we say more than ever now. You know, something looks good. Visually, looks great. You know, but where's the substance? That's all I'm saying. I would love to see the substance. So, there you have it, guys. The new Spock has been cast. You know, Captain Pike is going to be there. I forget the actor's name. You know, I can look it up and, I don't know, leave it in the comments. But anyway, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of Star Trek Discovery going forward? What would it take to get you on board? And I know they dropped the ball, okay? I know this. But what I'm looking for is some positive input. Okay, guys? So what would we like to see from a new Star Trek series? You know, or Star Trek Discovery going forward? Alright, how can you save this show, in other words? Alright, guys, that's what's up with that. I will see you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on, and live long and prosper.